The press conference is supposed to start in 14 minutes. Now, unfortunately, I have ISO 100 film loaded in my camera. I think that was going to be a mistake one of my days.
They ask us all to scoot back so the cameras can have a screen view. Is that why they're
Yeah.
Would it be a problem if I were to stick my tripod over there? Okay, then I'll just
Yeah, it would. The only reason it would be, I'm leaving some space here because I got to be able to pan over to this boat. Otherwise, you might be able to slip between us here. Well,
thank you.
That?
That's great. Thank you very much. I don't have much in the way of equipment there.
Hey man, it's better than a bunch of 60 pounds.
Shoot HD?
Yes, actually.
Well, then you're one up on him.
That's okay. You know, that's fine. But you know, our stuff still looks all right.
Your stuff still looks really good. You're running it through a magic process or something.
I don't know what the hell they're running through, bro.
It's something. It's magic.
Something. It's up to Bernie. I don't know what they're doing with it. I really don't. I've asked that question. But it does, you know, it looks pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Not being, you know, 12-year-old technology.
No. What, is that your permanent vehicle now? That boat you're driving?
That big love boat?
Yeah.
It's got a microwave in it.
Yeah? Well, like a little stinger? Yeah. But that's your news vehicle now? That's cool. Pimp my ride, man.
Hey man, it's so long you can't even back up.
You could eat 3 of my cars with your car.
What I have is that little bitty Hyundai
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe.
That ain't little bitty. You want to see little bitty? Take a look at my accent.
No, but that's one I like. And they said you don't have any. What was the word? It's not your decision. Yeah.
Thanks for the explanation. I kind of
So
know
why
that already.
don't I get this big love boat? It's not your decision.
No, that's great.
I thought I gave it back to him during the election.
Yeah, notice the smear,
I saw you. That's last time I saw you.
Yeah, because I told you, I said, nah, this is for the microwave. And that microwave is, you know, it works, it's spotted.
Yeah.
You got to be up under the antenna. They get these, they get these thoughts, and then they do something else.
Some of them work, some of them don't.
They mostly don't.
They're all texting each other.
I try to.
Unitexted to me.
Yes. Text it to me. Tell me this about it. I had a real hard time trying to get a buzz shot back on. It'll go, but it's going to tell you what I can do, Alex. I got 2 mics up there.
You too?
Lindsay's got on there. Right here. 3D. That's cool. Oh, thank you. 3D lens? Yes.
What is that?
L'Oreal 3D lens and cap. Oh no, this is all 20D. Old school.
Ain't nothing wrong with old school.
It's digital. It ain't that old school.
No, it's not.
Now if it was film,
Must have came in on the train. FedEx delivered.
it's supposed to be in California tomorrow.
So how you think they get it around?
That makes sense. Just wheel it on in there. Of course, they do have a runway, so I guess they could fly it. Let me get up there. It's a big plane. I don't know if they have a runway for it. Oh, yeah. Am I okay here?
Oh yeah,
Is this gonna be a
yeah.
problem?
Let me know if I'm
Oh, no, you're fine. It's fine. That guy can just stay right there. And
Hey guys, on the floor, real quick. Elon's going to be here. We're going to get a real quick group picture before we talk to Charlie. So, guys on the floor, look at Dennis and walk back this way. Don't get inside the cord. Dennis is going to take our picture from up there once we get Elon inside. So, kind of take this spot. Look at Dennis.
There's one in the lines of the store. That photo op and staff.
Is that going to be good, Dennis? Get Elon right in front.
I got it.
Okay, Elon getting out of the car right now.
Send it to me, would you? Send it to him. Just tell him.
I sent it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Tell him.
Dragon pick. Is that what you want?
They gonna put it on the web.
Yeah.
You did it. Yeah, everybody watch Dennis.
1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
I never know if there was like a bunch of people waiting. I just like eating a burger at Dairy Queen.
About 5 minutes. So not long at all. Okay. Yes, absolutely.
They'll make three, not in these, but
What's that?
This would be an album cover.
Oh yeah.
When they're doing this.
Yeah. Recording analog off of my digital. It's only about outside.
Yeah, we're waiting on it.
Excuse me. Get right in.
Yeah, let me know where I.
Yeah, you probably, you could get kind of, because he's going to get right in
Yeah.
here.
Oh, I'm.
All right, well, I'd like to welcome Charlie Bolden, head of NASA here. Thanks for coming. This is a great honor to have you here. Everybody's been really looking forward to your visit. So I just want to say thank you for your visit. And just like to again thank NASA for just being basically we couldn't have done any of this stuff without NASA. So we just are incredibly grateful to be part of the
I had some prepared remarks, but I'm not going to use them because what I really wanted to let you all know, and I came out here to see all the folk around here and all of you out there to say thank you. I think nobody knows what important an effort this was any better than all of you. For many of you, you know, what we did in the last few weeks fulfilled a dream. And for some of you, it was a lifetime dream. I think some of you have heard me say before, I'm not one of these people that dreamed all my life about going to space. I didn't grow up that way. I was one that did not believe I could do that. So I kind of fell into it. But as I look through this crowd, there's some of you that's something that you dreamed about all your lives. And to have happened what happened when Dragon made its way to the International Space Station, and most importantly, as I told Elon and Gwen, when we got close, you know, people always say the hardest part is the last 100 yards. And once again, that was exhibited when Dragon went to station. But the critical thing was that was when we stopped being two teams. There was no SpaceX team and NASA team. I think there was an American team that came together, managed to get the vehicle to station where we knew it belonged, got it berthed, got everything offloaded and onloaded and all that. And that's the culmination of all your efforts. So I am incredibly proud to be here to thank you. You know, the President's given us an opportunity in the face of a lot of adversity, to be quite honest. He's given us an opportunity to blaze a new trail in terms of space exploration. So, you know, when you all are my age and you can sit down, because I don't see anybody here that it looks like they're anywhere close, you know. Well,
Where's Joe?
Joe, you got a grandkid yet?
A bunch.
A bunch? Well, you know, Joe and I, as we sit with our grandkids in the rocking chair, you will be able to tell them about what happened over the last few weeks. And you're going to tell them about, I was there, and this is what we did, because what we did as a team was historic. It's the first time that a private company has ever done what you all did. And that's a big, big deal. And so you need to feel very proud about it. I bring greetings from a lot of people in Washington. Who's here from, used to be with Marshall? I know there's one rocket engineer that Robert Lightfoot. All right, what's your name? Nikki. That's right. Robert Lightfoot tells me to tell you hello. Hey, this guy, how many of you know, does everybody know Nikki? Yeah. Robert Lightfoot, who used to be the center director at Marshall and is now the associate administrator, he's the senior civil servant at NASA. Robert said when Nikki left him and came to SpaceX, he knew that it was real. So, it's people like Nikki and it's other ones of you who come from other communities that are going to help us slowly, discard the people who are non-believers and who are detractors. And you just got to hang in there and continue to do what you do. You flung the door wide open when you completed the successful Dragon mission this time. We're ready to go now as soon as everybody finishes all the evaluation of data and everything. Hopefully let you all start earning some real money. On providing a service to the International Space Station, which is what the President wanted us to do. He wanted NASA to get out of the business of access to low Earth orbit and hand it off to private industry that we're very confident can be done. And you've demonstrated that. So we're ready to get on with that. I know you all are off to other things now that I can't talk about, but you know what they are. And so all I can say is, I wish you the best of luck. You got to work really hard. Don't let up. For the American public that doesn't even know this place exists, or at least didn't know until today, hopefully they will. I don't want to bring a lot of people out here, because then the neighbors will get angry and all that kind of stuff. But at least they know, they know that there is a McGregor, Texas now, and they know it because of all of you. So again, Elon, I can't thank you enough for allowing us to be a part of your team, and want to say thanks again. And I'll see you. Say one more thing, because it's, you look at the vehicle, this thing's been in space. How many of you realize that? Has it sunk in yet? When we used to fly shuttles, and where's David Weaver? David Weaver's back there, my communications director.
Taking pictures.
I'd always have an opportunity to take people out on the runway and walk them under the vehicle, and some of you who've been with NASA before know, when you walk under the vehicle and you realize, boy, an hour ago, that thing was in space. You all should come over here, if you haven't already done it a couple of times, and just walk around and say, a couple of weeks ago, that thing was in space. And it's now back here, and it's intact, and it doesn't look a lot different than it looked when it left. It's got some scars and stuff, but that's the price you pay for getting 3,000 degrees. It takes a little wear and tear. But for all intents and purposes, that is a great-looking vehicle. And so you all should be incredibly proud of what you've done, because, this has done something that not a lot of things get to do. And until you all did this mission, no other private company had ever been able to bring somebody in somewhere and show them a vehicle that had been to space and back and had brought stuff back with it intact. So I've talked enough. Again, thanks very much and congratulations.
We can jump right into questions if you'd like. Just feel free to raise your hand or yell or whatever you'd like to do.
You all can ask questions too.
I can ask questions and answer them. Sure. Absolutely. So we are looking at creating a third launch facility. Cape Canaveral is up, and perhaps in the future on the NASA Kennedy side is our primary launch location. And then we're building a launch site in California for shorter launches. But looking ahead to the manifest, the sort of mission manifest, we want to make sure that we're able to serve NASA really well, as well as the Defense Department launches and our commercial launches. And so to ensure that there's not a bottleneck in, at the launch site level, we think it's important to establish a third launch site that can do a lot of the, say, commercial satellite launches, like the communications and broadcasts and that kind of stuff. And that will ensure that critical missions to the space station or for national defense do not face any limitation in that regard. So right now, South Coast Texas is the lead candidate for that third launch site, and I'm actually flying to meet with the governor later today, and a number of people on the Texas legislature side to talk about that, and as well as to talk about any potential questions in the future about flying astronauts if we're successful in winning future NASA business in that regard. Oh, yeah, sure. I think there's certainly incentives would be helpful, and we'd sort of look at, say, the incentives should be at least comparable to that of other states. That seems, I think, a reasonable thing to ask. And then we need to make sure from a legal standpoint that there is at least some sort of fair protection for a launch site, because it wouldn't be good to establish a launch site and then get sort of barraged with a bunch of nuisance lawsuits, which can sometimes happen. Whereas in Florida and California, people are used to launches occurring from Vandenberg and Cape Canaveral. If it's a new place, if people aren't used to it, then you can get some people that just kind of file legal actions. They don't have a lot of merit, but they can just really grind things to a halt. So we're just looking to be considered, that rocket launches should be considered on par with, say, with some of the protections afforded to use of gunfire and fireworks and lawnmowers. I mean, literally, it's like just add rockets to the list of, I think that seems like a reasonable request. Like, you can't sue someone because somebody's got a loud lawnmower next door, right? But rockets don't have that protection, so we've got to have just something like that.
Have other states made a stronger push than Texas to get this thing going?
Yes, that would be the case. Yeah. But I think that may be changing. So I don't want to presuppose that Texas would not be just as forward as other states in this regard. Because I think that may very well change soon.
Elon, I have some questions. First of all, how do you feel right now standing here next to this capsule, and what's going through your mind as you look at it right now?
Well, I'm really proud of the work of the SpaceX team and partnership with NASA. It's really, this has been, this is our baby, and back from space. And it's just, I feel like a proud father. I don't know, that's kind of how I feel.
And my second question is, are you prepared for another launch?
Yeah, we're in fact, the rocket for the next launch is already at Cape Canaveral, and the next spacecraft is almost fully built, and that'll be transferred to the Cape soon. We're just working with NASA to figure out what the exact right timing is for the next launch, but we're ready to go within months.
So seeing how this launch went and looking at the space capsule, are you ready to go up and do this thing?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty robust. I mean, you look at this thing; it's bulked up, So we really try to make sure that it was designed to well in excess of what of the environments that we experience in space and on re-entry, And we can actually refly this spacecraft almost untouched. So it's I think the fact that it's demonstrated this robustness is, I think, pretty helpful in preparing for future crewed missions, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel pretty comfortable on this vehicle.
What are other future possibilities?
Sure. So, well, I do think it's very important to figure out reusability of rockets. That's probably the biggest long-term initiative that we have, the most important one. Because if you look at the cost of propellant for a mission, or cost of fuel, oxygen, and so forth, it's only about 0.3% of the cost of the flight. So if one can figure out how to effectively reuse the rockets, just like sort of an airplane, then the cost of access to space can drop dramatically, maybe by as much as a factor of 100. And so that's the most important thing that I think we need to figure out, or someone needs to figure out. And we'll see the beginnings of that with our Grasshopper project, which is vertical takeoff and landing first stage. You can see it if you look. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's, you just got the door and look that way, you'll see it. Like the first sort of test article. Of course, since this is never, a fully reusable vehicle has never been done before. We had the space shuttle, which was partly reusable, but in fact, the reusable elements were so difficult to refurbish that it actually ended up costing more than an expendable vehicle. But the principle, I think, was the right one, and we just need to give it another try. But like I said, I think that really is the fundamental breakthrough that's needed for to revolutionize access to space is a fully and rapidly reusable rocket. So that's going to be our main thing. But it's uncertain how long it'll take to achieve that. And then on a separate track, there's the upgrading Dragon to carry NASA astronauts, which we're very excited about.
You've been around the SpaceX before that have gone to the station and come back. Can you compare what you see on this to some of the other vehicles you've seen in that?
The only one I've had personal experience with is shuttle, and I can't because it has a totally different purpose, to be quite honest. And why is it the only thing I've seen with shuttle? I don't think it's a fair comparison. Shuttle was, as Elon said, it was created to be a reusable vehicle, winged vehicle to land on a runway and do kinds of things, and our module's not designed the same way. So it's not. I don't think it's a fair comparison. What is a fair comparison is its ability to get things to space and then bring them back. That is a capability that we did not have until Dragon successfully completed its mission after shuttle. We don't have another vehicle that we can use to bring things back. The Russians have vehicles. They have Soyuz that takes our crews up, but Soyuz has a very, very, very limited return capability for cargo. This has a huge capability, and so that's a great advantage. And I think that would be the comparison. But it's obvious just by looking at it that it's not fair to try to compare two totally different classes of vehicles.
Before you came here, did you have an expectation about how it would look? Did it meet that expectation?
Oh, sure. But you got to understand, I've seen pictures of it. I've seen everything else. I've seen spacecraft that go to space and come back, and I had an opportunity to see the first Dragon that flew in December of 2010. And so I had an expectation. It looks better than I thought, to be quite honest. The vehicle gets pretty beat up during re-entry, and so I guess I would agree with Elon when he talks about the robustness of the vehicle. It's impressive.
It looks better than you thought to be putting that.
Well, if you look at it, it's charred back on the back, which is what you would expect, depending on the attitude it was in when you come. But it looks like if you dusted it off or cleaned it up, you could go fly it again. You wouldn't have to do a lot of things. Now, that's a very trivial statement for me to make, because the folk around here know there's a lot of work they have to do and a lot of examination they have to do and everything before they can certify that it's ready to fly again. But but just to the naked eye and a preliminary evaluation, you know, it looks great, to be quite honest. I have a question myself. Any veterans here in the crowd? Hey, thank you all very much for your service to the country. And I had another thing I wanted to say. You know, the president and I are really pushing to get companies to hire veterans. So raise your hands one more time. This is incredible to look at the number of veterans in this company. So my plea to other companies is to follow the example of SpaceX. This is really great because we've got some incredibly talented young men and women who are coming back from serving our nation and want to take their place alongside some of you. So if you got friends that are still in the military or getting ready to get out, tell them you got a place for them to come work and let Elon talk to them. But we need to hire more veterans, so that's just a plug for them.
Elon, Marines, they didn't even send their file. We have a lot of Marines out.
Elon, are you planning on adding more jobs to this facility?
Yeah, absolutely. We expect to grow quite a bit in the coming years. So, I mean, I would certainly expect you know, the next several years to have several hundred direct jobs added in McGregor. And then, of course, there's an amplification factor. So if for every employee that we hire, they obviously they bring a family, and that generates jobs in terms of automobiles, housing, you know, plumbing, electricity, hotels, restaurants. So usually the people apply kind of a 5x multiplier in terms of the job creation. So effectively, it would result in thousands of jobs in the McGregor Waco area over the next several years.
I have one more question. First, assuming you don't fly this thing again, where's it going to end up?
Oh, actually, I honestly don't know. I mean, right now, we thought, well, maybe we can leverage this to on the educational front. So send it maybe on a tour of the country, get kids interested in space.